everyone. So I'm so glad to be back. I was gone for a couple of weeks because I had the end of the school semester, which was just extremely stressful and busy with, projects and then of course finals and everything. And so I really had to focus on that and didn't really have time to shoot and edit and upload a YouTube video. So now that all those things are things of the past, I'm so excited to be doing a new video for you guys today. And I'm actually going to be sharing my palette collection. Now, I don't have a ton of palettes. Some people here on YouTube have like 30 palettes or something. That's definitely not me. I have 9, but even though I only have a smaller amount, they are all super great palettes and I wanted to share them with you guys. So basically I'm going to show you what they are, do like a quick overview why I like them, and then I'm probably, for some of these, definitely not all of them, but for some of them I'm going to do individual videos. A couple of them I have already done individual review videos, and I like doing those because then I can go more in depth about the shadows, possibly show you guys swatches, but when I'm doing 9 different palettes, that would be such a long video if I did swatches of all of them and really just went in depth. So basically, like I said, today I'm just going to be showing you guys these palettes, talking a little bit about them, and then if you guys want an individual review on a certain palette in this collection, just comment down below and let me know. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first palette I'm going to be talking about is the Maybelline New York The Nudes palette. So this is a palette you can get in the drugstore for $9.99. I was actually surprised that I do like this palette. At first I was kind of iffy about it, but I mean for $9.99 it is a decent palette. You're not going to be able to expect to get the quality of, say, an Urban Decay shadow out of this palette, but it is very similar to the Naked one, so if you don't want to go spend that $54 to get the Naked one palette, this is a great alternative. A lot of the colors are pretty similar. I mean, they're not exact, but it's definitely similar to the Naked one. So there are a mixture of kind of shimmery colors and satiny colors, and then there's a couple mattes. There's a light matte tan color, a matte brown color, a matte gray, and then a matte black. So you really have your basics covered in this palette, which I really like. The gold in this palette is beautiful, and so is this kind of darker bronze color. Overall, a great palette. It lets you know on the back like ways that you can combine these shadows. So if you're maybe newer to makeup, this definitely will help you learn and get the hang of it because it says like put this color here, put this color there. So that's very helpful. The second palette is also by Maybelline and also from the drugstore. This is the Blush Nudes by Maybelline. So it's another one of these palettes in this line by Maybelline that they've been doing. The style of this one is very similar to the one I just showed you, except this is more of like the lighter kind of colors. This is similar to the Naked 3 palette, so it's once again a thing where if you don't want to go out and spend all that money to buy the Naked 3, you could buy this palette. But once again, the quality of these shadows is still not going to compare to Urban Decay's because, just in my opinion, Urban Decay shadows are absolutely amazing. But this is still a great drugstore find for $9.99. Like the other Nudes palette, the Blush Nudes has 12 eyeshadows in it. The only downside of this one is it actually only has one matte shadow, kind of like this light pink color. But besides that, there are more shimmeries as well as satins. It's really, really pretty. Some of these lighter colors though, which you're probably not even picking up super well on the camera, are a little bit harder to pick up on the eyes. But overall, I have been liking this palette, and I'm thinking of doing a Naked 3 versus the Maybelline The Blush Nudes video for you guys, so you can kind of see the differences more in depth. But overall, I do like this palette. Another more recent buy for me was the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. This is kind of the same concept as the Anastasia contour kit, but this is a lot cheaper. I want to say this was like maybe $22 or something, and you actually get more shades. I think the Anastasia palette comes with 6, and this one comes with 8. There's more of a range of colors, and I know that if you're more pale like I am, this palette might actually be really good for you because it has a lot of these lighter shades over here. Overall, I have really, really loved it. It has kind of your light, kind of tanny white shade, that kind of yellow banana powder kind of shade, a kind of peachy shade that has more of a kind of like a shimmer or like a glow in it, and then this white one, definitely more of a highlight shade where it has that shimmer in it. Then you have your 4 contour shades, and all of the contour shades are matte, which I really like. I've actually pretty much used all of them, except I haven't tried this one on the end. It's a little bit dark, but I'm sure I'll find a use for something for it, even if it's like an eyeshadow. So overall, loving this palette. Then I have a Morphe palette. If you guys haven't heard of Morphe Brushes, definitely go check them out. Their eyeshadows for the price are beyond amazing. I want to say they're $2 a piece for an eyeshadow. Yeah, I think they're $2 a piece for an eyeshadow, which is such a steal. And honestly, the pigments of their shadows are probably similar to MAC. Like, they are so amazing, and you really can't beat the price. Their palettes, like this is the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette, but their normal palettes are probably around $20 for like 28 shades or something. It's like so ridiculous how like inexpensive they are, but they're still such great quality shadows. And they also have blushes as well, and a lot of other stuff at their store. And also their makeup brushes are really good too. I have some of those. But anyways, back to the palette. This is the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette from Morphe Brushes. I know that they are out online and they're not restocking, but if you live in California and you can make it to their Burbank store, I know they still have some in store. So there are 28 shadows in this palette. They're all absolutely amazing. I'm just like in awe of how great the pigmentation is of these shadows, but they're only like $2 a piece. Like, it's insane. Like, I don't know. If you haven't tried these shadows, go online and order some and you will be amazed. The next palette I have is the Smashbox Color and Contour palette. This was the first palette actually that I got, and I don't use it as often as some of my other ones. It has, oops, this like popped out. I have a whole review video on this palette, and actually if any of the other ones, if I've done a review, I will put it down in the description bar. But it's a great palette. I mean, it has this whole colored side with 3 blushes, and then this whole kind of more neutral side with a highlight, a contour, and a bronzing shade. Overall, I did really like this palette. It was the first one I got, so I didn't really know anything about palettes when I first got it, and I don't even know if they still sell this. If they do, it will be linked down below. But I mean, I do really like it. I haven't used it in a while just because I've been using other more recent things, but this is one that I really do like. I like to have some of those colors in my collection where if I did want to do a colorful look, I can go reach for it, but normally in a palette, I tend to go for more of the neutral, so I would definitely say that I use this side of the palette more. But overall, it's a great palette, and the packaging is really sturdy. Then if any of you guys have watched my channel for a while, you know that for some time I was obsessed with the Stila in the Light palette. I don't know if they still make this one, actually. I know that for a while it was on sale online for like $20, so like half the price, just because they were trying to clear them out. I think you can still find some of these online some places. But I really liked this palette. It came with like a brown eyeliner and then 10 shadows, with my favorite, of course, being Kitten. If you guys have not heard of Kitten by Stila, you seriously need to check it out. They might even sell it individually. I'm pretty sure they do, because it's just such an amazing shade. So beautiful. And what's also great about this palette is it has a matte beige, a matte tan, a matte brown, and a matte black. So you have all your basic colors that you would need to blend set, and then the other colors are these more shimmery shades that are just absolutely amazing. I've used these shadows wet, I've used them dry. Either way, super amazing, and I love this palette. It's probably one of my top favorites. I actually haven't used it in a while, but I need to because it's super great. Then I have the Decay Naked palette, which I actually have a tutorial with coming very soon. This palette really just speaks for itself. It comes with a brush, which is actually pretty good. And then it has 2 matte shades, the color Naked and the color Buck. One's kind of like a light beige, and the other one's more of like a light tan color. And then the rest are kind of shimmer and glitter colors. This palette, like, if you're looking for a palette to buy, and you don't know which one to buy because maybe you're just starting out, but you want to kind of get more into makeup, I definitely would recommend this one. I know a lot of people get this palette because, you know, you have the more neutrals at this end, and then you can get darker. So you can create very simple looks with this, but you can also create dark, smoky eyes with this. It's just a really versatile palette. Then I have the Meet Matte Nude palette by the Balm. I do have a review on this one. I did it a couple weeks ago because I love this palette. It is actually an all matte palette, which is something that you don't find a lot of times. There's a lot of browns in it, but also some of those other colors, some gray, a purple, kind of like a peachy color, kind of like a tan yellow color. You really have a lot of great shadows in this palette. And the great thing about it is you can say you have any other small like single shadow or something and it's like a sparkly kind of shade or something, and you do that on your lid but you want something to blend it out with, you're going to be able to blend out almost any eyeshadow with this palette, just with having the browns, the tans, the grays. Really, like this palette is amazing. I use it so much by itself and with other palettes. I love it. And then the last palette I have is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. This palette is just so, so, so amazing. If you're not into the dark shadows of the Naked one and you're still looking for a palette, like your first palette to get, this would be the one I would go with. Once again, it comes with a brush, and then it has all these kind of pinky rose gold shades, and then it has a couple dark shades here at the end. But just so, so pretty. Definitely a palette that you could use on an everyday basis and not be like too bold with your eye look. But yeah, this palette is just so amazing. I love it, and I don't think this palette will disappoint you. Alright, so those are all the palettes that I have in my makeup collection. I have a lot of individual like quads and stuff too, but these were just the bigger palettes that I have. As I said before, if there are any of these that you want me to do a review on or you want me to do a makeup tutorial with, leave a comment down below. I know there were only 9 of them here, but hopefully, you know, maybe, I don't know if it'll probably be more than a couple months, but hopefully I can come back and do more of a updated palette collection in the future when I have a lot more of them. But right now, this is just my current collection. It is way more than I need. And for those that think like maybe this is too many, this is kind of obsessive, let me just tell you that it just kind of comes with this whole YouTube thing. Doing these makeup tutorials, I basically have to have a lot of palettes. I'm doing a lot of different tutorials and stuff, and it's nice to be able to switch it up and use one palette or another palette or whatever. So that's why I even have 9. I mean, if I wasn't doing this, I probably wouldn't have 9. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so, so much for sticking with me the past couple of weeks when I haven't really uploaded videos because I've just been so busy with school. Now that finals are over, I'm so happy that I'm going to have a ton more time to film videos. It's just, that's really what got me through the very end of the semester when I was just dragging and just wanted to be done. I was like, okay, I just have a couple weeks left and then I get to do my YouTube videos and my fashion vlog. So thank you guys so much for everyone who has subscribed. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.